Now, when it comes to our daily eating habits, now there are 1,000,001 diets, menus, and things we shouldn't be eating.
Oh, yeah, but what do you need to be aware of concerning the food you eat when you fly? Well, here to tell us, fitness and nutrition expert Bernadette Abraham. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Interesting topic, this one, because flying is part and parcel of our life, isn't it, these days? So let's go through in a linear fashion, if we may. What about the night before you get on a flight? Should you be thinking that far in advance?
I would even think maybe a few weeks before we travel, if you can, definitely. Because
that's Bernadette for you.
Because really, I mean, we know that airports and airplanes are just breeding grounds for viruses and bacteria. So really the ultimate goal is to boost your immune system before you travel. And that can start as early as 3 weeks, a month before you travel by supplementation, for example. So I take astaxanthin, not just before I travel, but on a daily basis, which is a very powerful antioxidant that helps fight free radicals and environmental toxins and such. Also probiotics, whether through supplementation or through food, like kefir, which is a cultured beverage, or raw organic yogurt, or even fermented vegetables. Those help increase the good bacteria in your gut and boost your immune system. The one thing I would avoid is definitely too much sugar, because 1 teaspoon of sugar can suppress your immune system by up to 4 hours. And to put that into perspective, a can of soda has 9 teaspoons of sugar, and a little small bottle of orange juice has 10. So you just have to be conscious of how much sugar you're taking in, because it really does affect your immunity.
So these are the things that we should typically be avoiding, but I'd like to get into plain food as such. Now, when we talk about plain food, we're talking about food that has been cooked in advance, chilled, reheated, sometimes left laying around, and maybe reheated again. So you never know what kind of bacteria might be in it. So what are the things that we should be looking out for?
Well, just to give you guidelines of what you should eat, I mean, be picky. Obviously, when they serve your food, take a look at it and try and eat what is real food, is how I categorize it. Anything that's alive, you can eat it. Anything that's been processed, you can kind of stay away from it. So typically, they'll serve some kind of vegetables or a side salad with a little balsamic vinaigrette. You know, that's fine to have. Try to avoid anything that has too many creamy sauces on it, or kind of, you know, move it away on the side. Try to avoid heavy-laden, high-fat foods, because that can really cause digestional discomfort. And be mindful of your passengers as well. So try to avoid anything that you know might cause gas or bloating or intestinal discomfort or make you run to the bathroom. Coffee, for instance, can have a laxative effect. Taking sugar-free candies. You know, you'll have those convenience stores before boarding the plane. Yeah. Everyone goes and stocks up on candies. Yeah. Eating too many sugar-free candies can cause intestinal discomfort and can have a laxative effect. So if you're in a window seat, you don't want to be bothering, you know, the passenger sitting next to you. So those are some of the things that you should look out for.
Invariably, these days, I'm travelling with a gaggle of kids in tow as well, which brings their own little challenges.
Likewise.
Anywhere in the world, especially when it comes to feeding time on a plane. In terms of what a parent should be looking out for in terms of the food that's served on the plane, or maybe taking on supplemental foods as well, what would you suggest?
Absolutely. Pack your own food. I mean, when I pack, half of my suitcase is toys, the other half is food. So I always have cut up vegetables, different kinds of things that they like, so from carrot sticks to cucumbers, depending on the country that you're also going to, because sometimes they may, you know, not allow you. I also put nuts, dried fruits, as well as popcorn. I make homemade with organic corn kernels beforehand, and I put them in little Ziploc bags for them. So while they're watching the movie, you know, they're having their popcorn, and it keeps them quiet and happy. So those are some of the
But do you still give them the plain food as well, or not?
Yeah, because they love opening the box and seeing what's in there. But I immediately, you know, start sneaking things away, like the high sugar foods and such.
But there are elements of those trays that could be.
Yeah, for the children, they typically, you know, serve either a plain chicken breast or pasta. It always varies, but I scan them for sure.
Of course you do.
The Bernie scan.
Now, Bernadette, in terms of the food that you eat just before you board an airplane, especially in this part of the region, a lot of us are guilty of it because we do have at least an hour left while we before we can board the aircraft. And the first thing that we run to is the chain of fast food restaurants that are available at, at every 5-10 meters of the airport. So do you think it's a good idea? Because I'm extremely guilty of this. I shove down a burger before I enter a flight. Is that a good thing?
No, not necessarily. I mean, not just before a flight, anytime really. It's really high in the bad kind of saturated fats, and it's really high in sodium. And actually, these fast food meals a lot of times can exceed the daily allowance of sodium that we're supposed to be having. And excess sodium can cause water retention. It could cause hypertension. And so if someone has high blood pressure, that's definitely something that they want to be avoiding. So, if your flight's in the morning, you definitely want to avoid the typical modern day breakfast of, bagels, pancakes, waffles, donuts, muffins. Sorry, Ash, it has to be said. Instead go for yogurt, fresh fruits. They always have them in little cups. Choose the better alternative. Choose real food. That's the golden rule.
Real food.
Avoid man-made foods. Stick to real food. Look for real food sources.
I'm really, really confused now. Really
What have I
confused.
done?
But what else is there to do on a flight though?
I know, it's the source of entertainment while we're traveling, right?
Just eat and watch films. That's what flights are for, isn't it?
Bring your own.
Oh,
No,
dear.
just be picky, Pick and choose the right foods. Make the best out of the worst situation.
Well, Bernadette, thank you so much for that. So eat real food and not man-made food. Words come
Absolutely.
just from Bernadette Abraham right here. And of course, for more information, do log on to our Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Studio One Live.